actual Baron Zemo reportedly not in Marvel Thunderbolts movie. Create a citizen, see what this is all about and check this out.
One of the biggest confusions surrounding the Thunderbolts movie is where is Zemo? Because literally, what happened to this guy? I mean, you cannot do Thunderbolts without Baron Zemo. In the comics, he is the leader of the team and has been in every version of the Thunderbolts. At least, you know, the main version of the Thunderbolts. So, how can you do an MCU Thunderbolts movie without Zemo? Especially when you literally have Zemo in the MCU. Because then we got that concept art reveal at D23 of the roster of this team, and Zemo was nowhere to be seen. And then Daniel Bruhl, of course, the actor who plays Baron Zemo in the MCU, he was asked about it in an interview recently, and he said, well, he very much played coy about it. He was like, you know, Baron Zemo, he's alive, he's not dead, he's out there. So basically, it is one of those things where it's like, he's saying, you know, he could be in it, but I'm not going to say he's in it. So, I mean, this is what we should be looking at for the MCU Thunderbolts with, you know, maybe a few other additions, a little Songbird, Sentry, you know, according to some of these rumors we've talked about lately. This is what we should be getting, but instead we have this with Abomination and Zemo locked outside on the other side of the door. And it's just sad and just makes absolutely zero sense. And, you know, obviously, like I said, we've been talking about rumors for this film, other characters that will be featured on this team that weren't revealed in the concept art, and so a lot of us have the theory like, oh, maybe Zemo is going to be in the movie, he's going to be on the team, they just maybe didn't have, you know, the concept art done with his character, or the contract signed with Daniel Bruhl by the time they revealed that lineup at D23. That's a huge possibility here. But the more we hear about it, about these other characters like Songbird and Sentry and the Hood being part of this movie, all these scoopers are also saying that Zemo is not in the movie at all. Or if he is, it will be a very small cameo role. Which, again, that's just shocking and surprising because this whole, like, we've been talking about the Thunderbolts in the MCU for years now, about how they've been setting up this team. And it was never even a question whether or not Zemo would be part of this team because he just should be. I mean, the whole idea, when the whole theory of the Thunderbolts coming to the MCU was a thing, it was because Zemo was there, and Zemo was there to set it up, and with how he ended in The Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's there. Like this character should be a part of this movie, so why would he not be? Well, if you actually really look at it and think about things, and the MCU's version of Baron Helmet Zemo, it actually makes sense that he would not be in this movie, or at least not a part of the team, because looking at his ideals in the films, he absolutely hates super soldiers. And pretty much this whole MCU Thunderbolts team is comprised of super soldiers. So, first of all, I don't think he would want to be a part of the team, and second, it's a government-led team. And sure, they're hiring all these villains and stuff, but most of them are actually redeemed villains that aren't villains anymore. You know, you have Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Taskmaster, Ghost, U.S. Agent. They're not really villains, like, at all. So why would the government want to put an actual terrorist on the team, a guy that killed the King of Wakanda and has done a whole bunch of other stuff, literally actually did take down the Avengers? Like, why would the government want that? So it makes sense from that standpoint, but kind of gets me interested less in this first Thunderbolts movie, but more in its sequel, because, you know, given that fact that Zemo probably won't be a part of this team, it gives the potential for him to be part of the team and possibly even lead the team in a possible potential sequel here in the MCU. Because like I said, this MCU Thunderbolts team for this first movie, it's basically super soldiers. It's going to be this government-led team led by Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character of Val. And so that's what we're going to be dealing with here. This is our team. This is our lineup. It's just going to be these basic characters who, for the most part, are like redeemed villains who aren't villains anymore and more anti-heroes at this point. But what if by the end of this film, either the team is exposed and framed or is like basically shown to the world as not necessarily a great team and is kind of framed to the public as villains, as they formerly were. Or maybe it's even supposed to be like a Suicide Squad type thing where the public doesn't even know about this team, but then they do find out about it at the end, and that's where, they lose all credibility. Maybe Val gets fired, maybe Val dies in this movie, and in the end, that void is then left here. You now have this team without a leader, without the government connections. They've just been absolutely abandoned. Well, who's going to come in and save the day? Well, that would be one Baron Helmet Zemo, because then at that point it would be a very different team. It wouldn't be necessarily the government Thunderbolts. It would be the Thunderbolts from the comics. So it's kind of going from the perspective of what we did with Tom Holland's MCU Peter Parker, where he wasn't really Spider-Man until the end of his trilogy. So it could be something similar here where we don't actually have the Thunderbolts that we know and love from the comics until the second movie. This first movie is basically just laying the groundwork for the actual Thunderbolts to come. And this could go a couple different ways here, actually. So Zemo could come in here. He could maybe have like a small little cameo within the film, have like almost like a Hannibal Lecter type role. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then a cameo in a post-credit scene, which leads to him taking over the Thunderbolts in the sequel, where it could become almost like a Dark Avengers type thing. Where it is basically the Avengers, but with villains. So it would be a villainous team. And I just think this would be a really cool way to go about doing it. I don't know if it would actually be like it is in the comics with the Dark Avengers, where they're pretending to be the Avengers and like, oh, they're good guys and all that stuff. Or if it would be more along the lines of the Masters of Evil, and they are just actual villains. But speaking of the Masters of Evil, this also ties into another possibility. What if, you get that Zemo cameo somewhere throughout the film, they need his help for something, ask his advice about however this villain is thinking or whatever. Also kind of similar to what happened to the Riddler after he was taken to Arkham in the Batman. What if then you get a post-credit scene where it's not Zemo taking over the Thunderbolts, but instead Citizen V? Now, for those who don't know who Citizen V is, in the comics, the Thunderbolts originally was the Masters of Evil, ran by Baron Zemo, but when they first presented themselves to the public as the Thunderbolts, they were in disguise as heroes. And they were basically set up to dampen the image of the Avengers and make themselves look like they were the heroes and the Avengers were the villains. So we could get something similar here. Again, the MCU is never a one-to-one translation from the comics to the MCU. They always adapt things. This would be a really cool way to pay homage to that and have Zemo be the leader of the Thunderbolts, but maybe even have it be a big reveal, even though us comic fans know that, oh, that is Zemo, not actually Citizen V, and Citizen V is just a disguise. For the general public, that would be actually a really cool reveal, I think. And plus, this would just be a really cool costume to see in live action, and I think would, again, it would just go deeper into the roots of what the Thunderbolts actually are in the comics compared to what it looks like we're going to be getting in this first Thunderbolts movie. So this, personally, I think would be, while it is disappointing, we may not be seeing Baron Zemo, at least not as a member of the Thunderbolts in this first movie. That is quite disappointing, but if you look at the payoff that it will be once you build to this potential sequel, I think it makes a lot of sense, and this could potentially be even better than what we initially thought would happen here. And then when you get this Zemo/Citizen V-led team in the sequel, then that's where we could add in some of the bigger powerhouses, whereas in this first movie it's mostly super soldiers. Then you could add in some of the more powered-up characters from the comics, team of the Thunderbolts, like Songbird, like Beetle, and Moonstone. Moonstone would be another good one as well. So I think this would be pretty cool. Then again, this is just absolutely complete theories, but it makes sense. And I actually do kind of hope that this is the route that they take for this franchise in the MCU. So anyways, guys, let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the fact that Zemo may not be in this first Thunderbolts movie, but my theory is that possibly it could be setting him up for an even bigger role in its sequel. So thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.
Please subscribe, like this video, have a great day. Please like this video, thanks so much for watching, and watch. Have a great day. Watch this video and see you guys. Bye.